If you live in Canada right now, wake the up. We're not middle class, we're not stable, we're not safe, we're not even respected. We're a joke. And the world sees it, Americans see it, and deep down, we see it too. We're polite to the point of brain damage. We torched our own house for a decade, then handed the matches back to the same arsonist and said thank you. Meanwhile, in America, they put a geriatric in charge and finally decided to make a change. At least they'll fire the captain when the ship is sinking. We polish the deck chairs and apologize while we drown. We thank the cashier while they rob us at Loblaws. We smile at the nurse while they let us rot on the stretcher for 9 hours. We call that civilized. The world calls it pathetic. We're not citizens, we're hostages. Polite, apologetic hostages. And the ones holding the gun to our heads? Banks that bleed us with 5-year mortgage roulette. Grocery cartels that make us pay filet mignon prices for craft dinner. Telecom monopolies that charge us triple for garbage service. And politicians who laugh in our faces because they know we'll never fight back. That's Canada, a country of quiet losers who mistake being robbed for being nice. And here's the part that cuts into the soul. This isn't bad luck. It's not the economy. It's not global conditions. It's us. We let this happen. We sat silent. We obeyed. We bent over. And now we wonder why our kids will never own a house. Let's start with the holy grail lie we've been spoon-fed since birth. Healthcare. We chant free healthcare like it's religion. But what's free about waiting 27 weeks to see a specialist? What's free about dying on a stretcher in a hallway? What's free about waiting 9 months for an MRI while cancer spreads? Here's the savage truth. We already pay for healthcare. 42% of our incomes go to taxes. And a fat slice of that bankroll to a collapsing system that can't even guarantee a family doctor. Now compare that to the US. Private health insurance for a family, $500 a month, $6,000 a year. We're already paying double that in hidden taxes and still waiting half a year to get treated. So tell me, if you were a doctor, would you work here? When in the US, you can make triple the salary, work with the best equipment, and actually treat patients instead of babysitting waitlists. That's why our doctors flee south. That's why desperate Canadians drive across the border just to get urgent care. Here's the forbidden truth. Canada doesn't have free healthcare. We have rationed healthcare, and we're the ones being rationed. So let's go grocery shopping. Step into Loblaws. You're robbed before you even grab a cart. Bread, $4, chicken, $18, cheese, $14. Why? Because 3 corporations control 80% of Canada's food supply. They collude, they gouge, and they laugh while we blame inflation. Meanwhile, in America, Walmart, Kroger, Aldi, Costco. Competition. Choice. Half the price. Better quality. Canada, our kids eat craft dinner 5 nights a week, while Galen Weston adds another 0 to his net worth. That's not feeding families. That's organized robbery in aisle 4. Phones, we all know the scam. Bell, Rogers, TELUS, the big 3. They charge us $85 a month for service Americans can get for $20. Our data cap's a joke. Our coverage third world. And if you miss one payment, boom, credit nuked like a missile strike. That's not connectivity, it's extortion. And the outsiders see it. They laugh that Canadians pay luxury prices for garbage service, and they're right. Now let's talk immigration. This one's gonna hurt. Because the government opened the floodgates. 1.2 million newcomers in a single year. Not planned, not managed, just dumped into a market already bleeding families dry. Rents exploded, vacancies evaporated, and if you're under 35, buying a home is a fantasy. Meanwhile, in America, wages are higher. At least there's housing supply. Our kids don't just lose bidding wars, they lose their entire future. Now wages. Median US household income, $74,000 US dollars. Median Canadian household income, 68,000 Canadian dollars. Sounds pretty close, right? Wrong. Because 68K after Ottawa, Loblaws, Bell, and Enbridge take their cut, it feels like 40. Meanwhile, their 74,000 stretches further. Food cheaper, gas cheaper, phones cheaper, housing not 12 times income. We cross the border and instantly feel poor because we are. Our dollar is weak, our wages are weak, our future is even weaker. And here's where the knife twists. At the end of this video, I'm going to reveal the trap we're already locked inside. The one bleeding 6 figures out of our families every 5 years. If we ignore it, your kids won't just miss out on home ownership, they'll become permanent economic slaves. Now stick with me, because once you see the numbers, you'll never look at this country the same way again. Let's go deeper. Why is America cheaper and better? Because America runs on competition. You don't like Verizon? Switch to T-Mobile. You don't like Kroger? Shop at Aldi. You don't like California? Move to Texas. In Canada, you don't like Bell? Too bad. You don't like Loblaws? Too bad. You don't like your province? Move to another one with higher taxes. That's not a choice, that's captivity. And here's what Canadians are too passive to scream. Everything costs more here. Everything works worse. Gas higher, groceries higher, phones higher, utilities higher, housing 12 times income, wages stagnant, taxes crushing, and every year we're told it's global conditions. Bullshit. It's collusion. It's monopolies. It's politicians selling us a fairy tale while they cash out. Now, currency, why does the dollar crush ours every single cycle? Because America builds, innovates, it attracts capital. Canada, it taxes, it regulates, it leeches off real estate bubbles and foreign buyers just to stay alive. Strip housing out of our economy, there's nothing left. No innovation, no engine, just government spending and debt. That's why our dollar is worth 73 cents to theirs. That's why every time you cross the border, you feel like a peasant. Because we are. Humiliating truth. Canada is a first world brand running on a third world operating system. And if you think I'm exaggerating, stick around. Because when I reveal the full trap at the end, you're going to see how we've been robbed for decades without even noticing it. Now ask yourself this. If you were a doctor, why stay here? If you were an entrepreneur, why stay here? If you were young, hungry, ambitious, why stay here? You wouldn't, and they don't care. That's why Canada's best leave. Doctors, engineers, coders, athletes, gone. Because America rewards winners. Canada punishes them. And us, we're left footing the bill. Paying monopoly prices for garbage service. Paying luxury prices for cardboard housing. Paying record taxes for broken healthcare. And the cruelest part, we've been brainwashed to think it's totally normal. This is life in Canada. No, this is theft in slow motion. And we're the marks. If you're still here, you're one of the only people strong enough to handle this. Most already clicked off the second it got uncomfortable, but you stayed. That makes you dangerous. So listen, some of you probably think I'm a little outrageous, but a lot of homeowners in the Greater Golden Horseshoe are getting blindsided right now. That's why I built a free seller's guide. Click the link below and grab it. And if you want straight answers about your place, book a quick call. No pressure. Now I'll show you the trap we're already in. Vancouver. Families grind all year and end up with scraps. They work like professionals and live like beggars. That's not middle class, that's poverty with maple syrup dripped on top. Seattle, same grind, same jobs, but they stack savings while we stack excuses. They build, we bleed. Toronto versus Chicago? Chicago looks like security for life. Toronto mortgages its soul if the rate gods don't kill them. Calgary versus Denver? Denver builds futures, Calgary builds debt. Every matchup ends the same. We lose, they win. Now let's put the villains on trial. The banks. They don't give advice, they sell shackles. 5-year mortgage roulette, which keeps you chained until you break. Politicians, they brag about growth. Meanwhile, they flood your country with more people than homes. That's not growth, that's arson. Grocery CEOs, they smile in parliament and say we're not gouging. Meanwhile, we eat processed garbage while they fly in private. Realtors, they promise to list at your price. They reel you in, then beat you down until you cave. They don't care if you drown. They just want their cut. And us, we nod, we smile, we pay. That's why outsiders laugh. Americans see us as polite losers. Europeans call us socialism with better branding. Even newcomers shake their heads and say, this is worse than where I left. Now here's the real horror show. Every year we stay polite, we lose. Every decade, hundreds of thousands vanish from our families' futures. By retirement, the average Canadian doesn't run out of money, they run out of hope. Meanwhile, in America, they refinance, shield their income, roll their equity, and play to win. They build wealth while we starve on debt crumbs. And here's the sick twist. We live longer. It sounds like a win. It's not. It just means 5 more years of being broke. 5 more years of rent checks, 5 more years of craft dinner while Galen Weston eats filet mignon 4,000 feet up in the sky. That's not life extension, that's sentence extension. Zoom out. Canada is a real estate casino with a flag stapled on the roof. 60% of the economy is government life support. We don't build, we don't innovate, we don't compete, we tax, we regulate, we flip homes back and forth and call it growth. That's not an economy, that's a Ponzi scheme. Canada doesn't want you successful. That's why our best leave. Doctors, engineers, athletes, builders, gone. Because the longer you stay here, the poorer you get. You don't feel the bleed until it's too late. At 30, you think you're climbing. At 40, you realize you're stuck. At 50, you've lost a fortune without even seeing it slip away. At 60, it's game over. You retire broke, in a rental, still paying into someone else's empire. That's the Canadian dream. Die polite, die broke, die quiet. Meanwhile, Americans rage, fight, and claw. They fail hard, but when they win big. That's why they build empires and we build excuses. And if we keep pretending, rates reset, payments explode, equity vanishes, savings gone, retirement slaughtered. I've seen it. Families losing hundreds of thousands just to get out. Renovating homes only to sell at a loss. Bleeding out while the banks, realtors, brokers, and CEOs feed. That's not investment, that's slow motion execution. And every month we wait, the trap tightens. If you're still here, you're different. Most people already tapped out. They couldn't take it, but you stayed. That makes you dangerous. So here's the truth. Stay in this system and you bleed. Guaranteed. But position right, move smart, sell smart, and you can still escape. That's why I built a free seller's guide. Click the link below and grab it. And if you want straight answers about your place, book a quick call with me. No pressure, just the truth. Now, I apologize for being a little crazy, but if I wasn't, you wouldn't still be here. It's the slow motion execution. And unless we fight, our kids are marched straight into the guillotine, polite to the very end. So the only question left, are we going to stay obedient and broke, or are we finally going to fight?